I had always believed that the hardest thing about marriage was the compromise, the constant balancing act between your own desires and the needs of your partner, but I was wrong. The hardest part came much later, when you realized that you've been living a lie even when you thought you knew the truth. Life had been ordinary, maybe even too ordinary for me and Clara. Married for 7 years, we had settled into a routine that on the surface looked perfect. She was everything I could have ever wanted: beautiful, intelligent, loving. We had a house in the suburbs, a decent job, and shared the same dreams about growing old together. Of course, no relationship is perfect, and there were moments when I sensed small changes. A subtle shift in her gaze when she looked at me, a certain distance in her voice when she spoke. But I brushed it off. It was nothing. Just life creeping in, nothing more. Then there was the matter of her work. Clara's career had been demanding lately, and I respected her dedication. I spent my days in an office while she was out, at all hours. Some nights, I fell asleep alone. It didn't bother me. She was passionate about her work, and I was proud of her. But little by little, the whispers of doubt crept into my mind. I ignored them. After all, we were a team. But teams fall apart, don't they? It was a Tuesday evening when everything changed. I had been working late, finishing up some reports on the couch, when I noticed something unusual. Clara's desk was slightly ajar, as if she'd left in a hurry. Normally she kept everything neatly organized, but tonight there was a sense of chaos. It was like she just tossed things aside before running out. I wasn't snooping. I wasn't. But my eyes couldn't help but fall on the small USB stick wedged between the papers in the drawer. I'd seen it before Clara had used it for work, but it had always been stored away in her office bag. This time it was left behind, carelessly, out in the open. I stood there for a moment, unsure. Something inside me screamed to leave it alone. But curiosity nodded at me. The label on the USB caught my attention. Do not open. It seemed so final, so absolute. My heartbeat quickened, and before I knew it, my fingers had already inserted it into my laptop. The screen flickered for a moment before a folder appeared. The title made my stomach tighten. Do not open. My hands were shaking. I didn't want to look. But something urged me forward, something I couldn't name. I clicked and I watched every single video. The first video was short, grainy. Clara, laughing, her face flushed in the dim light. But she wasn't alone. A man I didn't recognize was there with her. The scene shifted, their conversation fading into muffled whispers, then silence as they embraced. My blood ran cold. I couldn't believe it. I shouldn't be seeing this. But my eyes betrayed me, glued to the screen as the videos continued. They were all the same intimate moments. Conversations I had never heard, shared with someone I didn't know. A double life. Betrayal? Infidelity. The most gut-wrenching kind of manipulation. Clara, my wife, had been lying to me, and the worst part was, I had no idea how long it had been going on. It wasn't just the affair that cut me. It was the lies. The deceit. She had kept this from me for God knows how long. How could I have missed it? Was I blind to everything? But I didn't stop there. I couldn't. I watched each video, each one more damning than the last, as I felt my heart break with every frame. Clara's secret life. A life I had no place in. I closed my laptop and stared at the wall for what felt like hours. My head was spinning. My hands trembling. I wanted to scream, to lash out, but I couldn't. Not yet. No, I had to think. I had to plan. I had no idea what was coming next, but I knew one thing: I couldn't let this go. Not without making her feel the weight of what she had done. I would find the truth, and I would make her pay. The pain of the discovery lingered in my chest for days, gnawing at me with every breath I took. I tried to pretend nothing had changed. I went through the motions. Work. Dinner. Small talk. The world around me was going on, unaware of the war that had been ignited inside me. But Clara, Clara, she was so unaware of what I knew. She acted like everything was fine. Her smile never wavered, and her voice was as sweet as it had always been. I wanted to confront her, throw everything in her face, but I couldn't. I wasn't ready. I needed more. I needed to understand how deep did this betrayal go. And then there was that moment. That slip-up. I came home early one afternoon. My mind, a storm of thoughts. I walked into the house, expecting the usual, expecting the quiet. But Clara wasn't there. Her phone was. It buzzed on the counter, a name flashing across the screen. I couldn't resist. I picked it up. Mark? I froze. The name echoed in my head. Mark? The man in the videos. The man who had stolen my wife from me. My hand clenched around the phone. I was suffocating under the weight of this realization. She had been lying to me, and now her phone was a portal to everything I needed to know. I clicked on the message thread, and there it was. Right at the top of the screen. I miss you. Can't wait to see you tonight. My stomach twisted violently. My wife had been living a secret life, and I had been completely blind to it. This wasn't just a one-time thing. It was a full-blown affair, a betrayal of the worst kind. The worst part? I didn't even know if I could trust her anymore. The next few days were a blur. I found myself obsessing over the videos, the messages. Every second that I wasn't with Clara, I was researching Mark. I had to know everything. Who was he? What did he have that I didn't? The more I dug, the deeper the hole became. Mark wasn't just some casual fling. He was someone Clara had been seeing for months, years, even. There were secrets, within secrets, hidden conversations and plans that made my blood boil. She had been lying to me for so long, weaving a web of deceit I had no idea how to untangle, and yet I was still stuck. I couldn't confront her, not yet. Not until I had everything. Until I could make her feel the weight of what she had done. I took the days that followed to prepare. I found out where Mark lived, where he worked. I found his social media profiles and learned everything I could. But the more I learned, the more my anger began to consume me. How dare he? How dare Clara? Every time I saw her, I smiled. I laughed. I pretended everything was fine. But inside, I was unraveling. The rage was building. I needed her to understand. I needed her to feel the pain of her choices. And when the moment came, it would be her turn to answer for what she had done. The confrontation was inevitable. I could feel it creeping up on me, waiting, building in intensity. It happened one evening after dinner. Clara had been unusually quiet, distracted. She had no idea I was onto her. She didn't know I was already planning my next move. Clara, I said, my voice cold. We need to talk. She looked up, her face pale. She knew something was off, but she didn't know what I leaned in. My heart pounding. I know about Mark. The shock on her face was priceless. The guilt was written all over her, even before she spoke. I don't know what you're talking about. I pulled out my phone, showing her the messages. The videos. Everything. The silence between us was suffocating. Her eyes welled up, but I didn't feel sorry for her. Not yet. I loved you, I whispered. And this is what you did? The aftermath of that night was chaotic. Clara left her bags packed, her tears flowing as she realized the weight of everything she had done. I stayed in the house, drowning in the silence that had once been so familiar. But as the days passed, I realized something. Revenge had tasted bitter. Bitter and hollow. What did I gain from this? Clara was gone, and the truth was laid bare. But was it worth it? Was this the redemption I had hoped for? I didn't know, but I knew one thing. I was free. Free from the lies. Free from the torment. And maybe, just maybe, I could begin again.